Before the video starts, this script is actually very old, and I'm just now taking the time to make this video, even though I would have liked it to be out before Darkest Dungeon 2 did. Anyways, enjoy the video. Having played this game for hundreds of hours, I became more and more intrigued with the darkest game mechanics that you're never explained. Keep in mind, this video has heavy spoilers in the game's progression and bosses, especially in second half. The video has subtitles and timestamps to keep it more organized, and feel free to go to the section you are most interested in. Although I would appreciate you to watch it as a whole. Let's start with something easy that you can figure out just by playing a little bit. Scouting, or to be more precise, critical scouting. When the scouting is applied, you are shown a corridor and a room in every cardinal direction based on where you are. There is an exception though. You can actually scout twice as far, and it's the only way you'll find a secret room. Any scouted fight cannot surprise you. Moving on, we have a rather simple mechanic that we get presented with an easy formula. Hit equals accuracy minus dodge. Although this is not true. No matter how low the enemy dodge is and how high your accuracy is, you will never see a greater number than 95%, because there is always a 5% flat chance to hit or be hit. Just keep in mind that this works both ways for you and your enemies. All location with no light indicator, such as the courtyard and the farmstead, will work like a greater than 75 torchlight location. Feel free to abuse high torchlight trinkets. If Riposte kills an enemy, you will suffer the damage it deals, but none of the side effects, such as bleed, blight and stress. The prot stat caps out at 80%. Using the blood on a hero already in Bloodlust will give it an insane plus 50% damage, 4 speed and 33 stress. The Shard Dust provision has some interesting effect on the character you use it on. First of all, it cannot be used on a virtuous hero, and it gives different buffs based on the number of shard dust consumed. The most powerful thing about this provision is the capability to refresh single-use abilities during a battle, making it the perfect way to spam and stack powerful buffs. This one will only apply if you have the Shieldbreaker DLC. If she is the only hero saying a line during camping, she will be having a nightmare, so prepare her snakes. Also, afterwards, don't drag the lore nor the trinkets in your inventory, as they will automatically appear in the hamlet once you complete the mission. During a nightmare, she cannot become virtuous.
Spark without kindling is a goal without hope. There can be no hope in this hell. No hope at all.
Critical strikes are weird, and there is a lot more to say than you would think. We all know how good it feels to land a crit on an enemy, but how much more damage do we actually do? Rather than rolling a dice, like you always do, and doubling its damage, you will always do 50% more damage than your highest possible roll. Little side note, every number in this game is rounded down when you apply protection. Every critical hit has 20% more chance to apply any status effect, and bleed and blight will last 50% longer. Landing a critical hit grants a buff depending on the class. This was only added after Color of Madness DLC, and it's a nice little thing that I really love. Crits also have 25% chance for every hero to get rid of 3 stress. Suffering crits inflict an additional 10 stress, and every other party member has 50% chance to get 5 stress. You might be thinking that adding critical strike chance to a healer is a good idea, but this game is stacked against you, and every single target heal only has 12% chance to crit, and every AoE heal has only 5% on each target. Restoration healing effects can crit on every instance. Every healing crit releases 4 stress. Turn priority, as we all know, is based on character speed, but why is it so inconsistent? The answer is actually pretty straightforward. We have a D8 roll, so when the combat starts and end every round, all characters and enemies add a random value from 1 to 8 to their speed, and this number will decide who acts first. Applying battle effects such as Battle Ballad that increases speed, accuracy and crit will take immediate effect because the calculation is made after every action and not round. making buffs and debuffs count even more due to their direct influence. Every time you enter a corridor, you can either spawn a fight, trap, or hunger check. You can easily manipulate this by entering and leaving a room to extend the number of fights and loot in the dungeon. Bandit Vvulf's attack, Bombs Away, cannot be dodged in any way, although the bomb can be defused by destroying the barrel. Just be careful on its consistent riposte unless it suffers lethal damage. Also, keep in mind Vvulf will resummon it and can stun a hero as well by using Get Them. Now we get in the fun part of the video, and we can start breaking a couple of bosses. Let's start with our beloved Siren, her skill Song of Desire, which lets her take control of one of your heroes, but it's not actually a random one. She always goes for the lowest debuff resist one, despite the fact she has a completely fixed 70% chance to get control of it. She won't take heroes if you have 2 or less alive, she will not take the same hero twice, but will alternate with the second lowest debuff resist one. Bringing an antiquarian makes this fight ridiculously easy. The second boss that's gonna crumble under our power is the Drowned Crew. We will prepare more compared to the Siren, but this one will be an absolute joke to fight. The crew will always start the combat with all hands on deck, dragging one hero to the first rank and summoning an Anchorman that traps the first hero by locking him in place and granting the boss healing each action, whether it's friendly or hostile, giving it an insane amount of sustain. The Anchorman cannot lock down a virtuous target, bringing the mission a Jester to prevent accident, Virtue Trinkets to bump up the chance to 70%, and swap them in between fights, while forcing stretch checks by entering and leaving combat. It's a long and tedious process, but the Sodden crew must not be underestimated at champion level dungeon, and you can just make it a walk in the park, so why not?
Many fall in the face of chaos, but not this one. Not today. Even in death, the captain shouts his orders, and the crew obeys.
I was debating whether or not to add a couple of Brigand 12 powder interactions. I decided not to, for 2 main reasons. 1, it's only doable in the Radiant difficulty, and 2, they are just bugs due to the way the cannon is coded. Just keep in mind that the cannon can be stunned, bled and blighted, and has some curious effects. I am ueseme, and these were the darkest mechanics. Farewell.